I feel like most relationships start off as friends, and I feel like shit can grow.
I can't with you, seriously. I don't think he's...
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know this beat, it's a girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 7. Let's get right into this video because the episode was actually pretty funny. Like, it was actually pretty funny. So after the recoupling, Badasha, she got sent packing, which was, kind of sad. But, Nick made his choice. He made his bed and he not got to lie in it. First talk with Sierra, he just like, I feel a weight off his shoulders. He now can like give Sierra the 100% now, all that. That talk. Charlie and Hannah, they seem to be locked in like very quickly. Like she just came in, found her guy, and now they locked in. Like he was just basically talking about he was down and out a few days ago, and then she came in and saved him. Like things can flip on a dime in that villa, so don't get too comfortable. Okay? So then the next chat was with Ace and Amaya. And now Ace just coupled up with Amaya, right? Why they have their first chat, and the first chat is being, I'm still going to be exploring, I'm not going to really cuddle you in bed, I'm a slow burner, all that. Like giving her a list of things like, hey, like just because I picked you doesn't mean I really picked you, Like I just picked you, but I'm still going to explore my options. Like stuff didn't change here. Like I'm still going to be talking to whoever I want to be talking to.
I mean, I feel like this conversation could have waited until tomorrow. I don't know, it's kind of giving player vibes, I'm not gonna lie.
Player vibes?
A little bit.
Okay.
So it's just like, you just picked her, made a speech for her, all that and so on. And it was just like, oh, you're just really a placeholder for now. Like, I'm still kind of exploring. Like, that's basically how the conversation went. And Amaya was just like, you could just save that for the next day. Like, you didn't have to say that right then and there, which was kind of messed up. So she was upset about that. And it was just like, Ace, bro, like, what happened? Anyways, Huda and Jeremiah were having a talk, and basically Huda was just basically like, Nick's decision like was shocking because the chats with Bella, she's thinking that whatever's going on with Nick was good, and so she's like, these men. So Jeremiah just like, what's going on here?
And they're like, what?
Like you can't even tell.
Yeah, but he was transparent with how he was feeling.
Why I couldn't tell.
Oh.
He basically told them it's both 50-50, so it's kind of like, it's not that surprising. So it was kind of like his face reactions to like Huda crying and whatever. Before the guys went to sleep, Ace was talking to the guys, and he was like, yeah, nothing changed around here. So the guys are like, so if she asks you to cuddle, you're not gonna cuddle her? And he was just like, no. And then he said something along the lines of, oh, when you tell a girl no, they just want you more, which is just like, is Ace all right? Like, what's Ace on in this episode? Because Ace was not acting like this. Like, he made his choice picking Amaya. No one forced you to pick Amaya. You had the first pick. It was between Austin, and you could have picked either Ace, could have picked Amaya or Chelley. You had the first pick, like a real true choice, and you chose Amaya. Now it's all, nothing changed here. I'm still exploring. If you was really about Chelley from the jump, you should have picked her and tried to see what's going on. You picking Amaya after a 24-hour meetup, and then now it's like, oh, don't get too comfortable, this and that, giving her a list of things that you could and could not do while they're together in a couple. Like, why are you pushing her away if you just coupled up with her? Like, are you all right? So they go to sleep, all that. Next day, Jeremiah and Huda get a text, and they get to go on a date. So everybody's da da da. But beforehand, Ace over here, once again being a messy instigator, messy person. He basically talking to Olandria and like all whoever's around at the kitchen table, like, do you think that's real? And she, she's like, yeah, because what Hood is saying and everything, da da da. But he's like, it seems too fishy. Like, seems something messed up over there. Like, it don't seem too right with how Jeremiah and Hood are acting. Like, if they're in a real relationship, or like, is it being genuine?
It just, something's off around this motherfucker.
Really?
And I feel like she's more invested than he is.
You
honestly.
think so?
Yes. Oh, like being so closed off early, like to me, you gonna get bored. For a Mike, that girl had been his type.
And then she really would have been cooked.
It's gonna be some shit.
Or whatever. So Ace is trying to like instigate, like whatever. So him basically putting that down to everybody who was there. Now they're second guessing like if Jeremiah and Hood are really like locked in for real, like real genuine couple. Like that they they have it in the back of their mind now, like they might be fake. They might be faking it, So they go on a date and they went to some water park or whatever. And before the date, they were talking, Hood mentioned something about wedding, and I'm like, this is not even the end of the week yet. You already showered together, talking about weddings and all that stuff, and I'm just like, week 1 is not over. Like, what are we doing? Like, they go on a date, they're talking about outside life, all that, see each other living together, all that, and it's like, all right, wow, like we're moving a little too fast. Back at the villa, the girls are having a chat, and they basically saying like, I'm trusting what Hood is telling me, but, I'm going to have to keep my eye on Jeremiah just to see if he's moving weird. Because I guess the first day he was kind of moving a little weird, like kind of like, a little possessive over on the first night. So that was a bit weird. And, Olandria checked that with Hood, like, hey, doesn't that seem a little weird to you that he was kind of acting a little possessive? But then, Hood flipped the script. And as soon as Amaya came in, she's acting like, oh, in a challenge, like, Amaya couldn't kiss Jeremiah and stuff like that. So, yeah, they're going to keep their eyes on Jeremiah, which is just like, Ace really instigated this entire thing because he's been, questioning Huda and Jeremiah's relation from the jump, how fast they move in, whatever and all that. Like, he's been questioning it from the jump. So it's kind of wild that, everybody else is going to start questioning the relationship. And if they ever get down to a vote where like, oh, who you think is like, a genuine couple or whatever, something like that, or a game or whatever. And, people start, picking them or voting for them. They're going to be like, what? I mean, like, oh, what's going on? Like, what's tea? Not knowing that Ace started this whole chain reaction. So back at the villa, I think Austin, he was telling Nick that, before the recoupling, him and Amaya shared a kiss at the dock and all that stuff. But he's like, don't tell anybody, which is like, like, oh, now that's what we're doing now? That's what we're doing? Like, you want to keep it a secret from Chelley? Because previous to this whole situation, Chelley and Austin had a chat. And basically, they were talking about how Austin's speech was off the dome. It was very sweet, da-da-da-da. And, Chelley's basically saying in the confessional, like, she's really starting to like Austin. He's growing on her or whatever. And just like, that's what happens when, Ace was about to crash out about Chelley. But he really not sticking to his word. Like, he really not crashing about her. He's the real crash out by Chelley. Because Ace pulls Chelley for a chat, and they're talking whatever, and Austin sees it, and he's sitting upstairs with Charlie, and he's like, I'm tired of being a triangle, da, 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 da. Like, he was really crashing out about this whole situation about Ace pulling Chelley for a chat, because he was just like, if you wanted to be in a couple with Chelley or talk to Chelley, you should have been in a couple with Chelley. What's going on? Like, why are we back into the same triangle situation of you still exploring Chelley? He picked Chelley, you picked Amaya. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? If you really wanted to get to know Chelley, well, then maybe you should have did that. Like, they really do need to swap partners, to be honest. But, he made his decision with picking Amaya, and Austin picked Chelley because he does like Chelley too. So it's like, You know, it's unfortunate because we really don't want Chelley with Austin, but he's really making the most sense. He was like, you know, he wants Chelley to chase after her, and Chelley's not a chaser girl. Like, he ate that. Like, give him, like, he don't get his 10s, but he did ate that. Like, he really did ate that one thing, because he really said, you know, Chelley's not a chaser girl. And it seems like, you know, Ace is playing into that narrative or wants some girl to really chase after him. Like, with the fact that he made that comment about, you know, if you tell a girl no, they want to, you know, that wants them more. Like, sir? Like, sir? Like, what are you talking about? Anyhow, you know, they had that conversation. Austin was just mad because he just, like, wrap up the triangle room. You know, Olandria, you know, the previous night before was basically saying, like, you know, she's sad that Bella's gone because the night before, her and Nick were, you know, kissing down.
I'm like, hold up.
Oh, they was kissing each other down.
Oh.
Oh my God.
So it was very much news to Sierra and other girls in, you know, the dressing room. So they're like, oh, he was, you know, kissing, you know, Bella down. Like, I didn't know this because I asked him, you know, the question, like, you know, did you lead, you know, Bella on? And he was like, oh, I don't think I lead Bella on, like, not that much. Like, what do you mean by not that much? Like, you were both telling both girls 50-50 and whatever. Like, you still like this person, like, still, you did lead both of them on, like, hello? But anyways, you know, she was saying, like, you could have just told me that in that same conversation, like, learning that from Olandria that, you know, Bella and you had a, you know, whole makeout situation was crazy because she's like 5 minutes later, you know, she kissed him in the photo booth. And like, what's going on here? So after that, you know, she talked to him later the next day and she was just like, you know, it was kind of like breaking a boundary. But my thing is, if he was telling both girls the same thing and you know where you stood, because it was 50% with you, he was saying 50% with Bella. Like, you knew where you stood. So I don't really think it was a boundary issue, but he should have been upfront with that about, you know, he did kiss Bella, especially after she asked you, did you lead anybody on? Like, it was plain simple. But, you know, there is that. And, you know, my situation. So Ace basically was like, you know, made breakfast for Amaya, gave it to Amaya, whatever. And she's like, thanks, babe. So the morning, he's like, what do you call your partners? Like, what type of nicknames do you call your partners? And she's like, you know, I use babe and some type of nickname, da-da-da-da. And he was just like, I don't want you to call me babe. See, like, babe's a little too type stuff. And she's just like, that's just my lingo. Like, I'm not really, you know, saying it too much as affectionate. That's just my lingo.
Okay, that's fine. We'll talk, babe. Oh, sir.
And he just like, I don't want you to be called that. So she was just so upset because she just like, you kind of like really stifling me here. Like, why did you even pick me? And then he's in the confession like, did I waste my pick? Yeah, why did you pick Amaya? You talking about you only had 3 conversations with Amaya. Like, sir, you only had 3 conversations with Amaya, but you picked her over Chelley. Like, let's get so for real right now. You picked Amaya over Chelley after being in a, you know, villa with her for 24 hours. You were crashing about Chelley. That's what you claim. You know, you knew Chelley for at least 3-4 days prior, and even from beyond the villa. But you picking Amaya for what? What was so good about Amaya that you had to pick her over Chelley? That's crazy work. That's why Chelley was just like, you know what? I'm not upset that, you know, you picked Amaya. You know, I'm just gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna chase after you. I'm not gonna check boxes for you. Like, I'm gonna be my real authentic self. And if we click, we click. If we don't, we don't. Like, she kept a real 100. Like, she let him know, like, I'm not chasing after you, sir. Like, you know, if you want me, you want me. If you don't, you don't. Like, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it 100. All right. But, you know, he wasn't play some games. He trying to, I don't know if what he trying to do some long game. He trying to get at Huda. Like, he really trying to mess up that relationship by any means necessary. So let's talk about this Taylor and Olandria thing. Because like I've been saying from jump, Olandria needs a new man to enter the villa, a new bombshell to enter the villa, because that man is not for Olandria. I've been saying this. I was never on that Taylor and Olandria chain. Now, Olandria seemingly likes him. You know, they're going on a slow burn, but she's kind of noticing with Taylor, like, they're going way slower than everybody else. And, you know, that could be a good thing or bad thing, but, you know, he's not showing any type of affection, physical touch, whatever. You know, so the morning, Olandria actually makes breakfast for Taylor. And Taylor over here talking to Ace, like, you know, he's not really feeling it. But Ace had to tell him, like, dude, she making breakfast for you. I'm not even getting breakfast at all.
How to even get that physical attraction?
She's cooking for your dumb ass. Cooking. I ain't even got that.
Like, hello? Like, are you good? So later on, you know, they meet up at that night and basically, you know, talking. And, you know, she's mentioned again, like, hey, what's going on? Like, she's mentioned, like, they didn't even, you know, do stuff, da-da-da-da. And, I mean, later on, they shared a little kiss, but it was just, like, she had to really beg for that kiss. Like, I'm not feeling it. And then they had a little photo booth moment, but I'm just like, send a man in for Olandria ASAP, because that is not her man. Like, at all. He's not feeling it. She's trying to, like, make it work, but is feeling mad force. Like, that is not her man. Please. You know, hello? Jeremiah and Huda were at the table, and Huda was basically asking Jeremiah, like, you know, should we, like, be closed off? And he was just like, it's really just the first week, like, calm down. We're not there yet. Like, they had a first date and everything, talked about outside, but, like, we're not there yet, like, chill out. And she's like, oh, do you, like, you know, wait for somebody better to come in? But it's just like, he just like, calm down. Like, why are we closing off in the first week? Why are we closing off in the first week? Like, Huda, chill. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to be closed off, married, all that, talking about life on the outside in the first week. Like, let's be so for real. So, you know, and then I think, you know, their little mom and dad lingo caught on, because Nick was like, you know, what's going on with Amaya and Ace? And he's like, oh, mom and dad went away, so that's what happened. I'm like, I mean, I guess, you know, their lingo caught on, because nobody really prior to that was really calling them mom and dad in that villa. But now they want to be the parents, you know, they want to be the parents of the villa. So I guess it's working. So the last conversation in the villa was between Ace and Amaya. And that conversation was just so unserious, because Ace talking about, you know, a good relationship starts at friends. And Amaya's like, what do you mean? What are you saying? Like, this is not Friendship Island. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he was just acting so ridiculous. Like, she was just like, what do you, like, you really stifling her. So she was so upset. She's like, you really, you know, bugging though. Like, dude, like, what's going on? So she was just like, I'm kind of over this situation by now.
You know, with us, I would still like to be cool. Like, I would like for us to be friends.
You want to be friends for everybody. This is not a friends island. Yo, all right. I'm over it.
So then we cut to tomorrow night, and I see Amaya, like, basically talking towards Chelley. And she basically saying, like, oh, you know, you kind of, like, messing up with the friendship, with the situation. But I'm just like, how? You came in as a bombshell. You already knew that Ace and Chelley had something little going on the little side, whatever. You know, that they weren't in a couple, but they're trying to, like, kind of work their way towards that. You as a bombshell did what you had to do, but you knew prior that something was going on. So don't act funny and say, oh, you know, you're not considering the friendship to Chelley, because, and arguing with Chelley like Chelley did something to you. Ace is the one, you know, trying to, you know, play games around you, and you arguing with Chelley.
Honestly, I'm a sweet girl, but I'm not stupid.
Tensions.
Listen. I don't feel like you have been truthful.
Boy.
Now I'm, like, questioning our friendship.
Every time I talk, you keep talking over me.
You can have it.
And to be honest, Chelley talking about she like in Austin for real. So, I mean, is she really trying to check back to Ace like that? I don't think so. Guys, if you like the video, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. You subscribe to my channel, subscribe. And thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.